Okay, so we are back and we want to move on to create the sidebars for both the desktop view and the mobile view. Okay, so now that we understand what we want to work with, I want us to quickly start by going into the page.tsx, and we are going to take out this logout button that we put here, and what we are going to do is we're going to put in a new component called empty state. Okay, so this component is the empty state. We are going to put it in here, and as you can see, we've not created that component here. We are supposed to create it inside the components folder. And so what we'll do is we'll come here, and then I'll come and create this, and I'll say empty states.tsx. Then inside this empty state.tsx, we can quickly get rid of the error by exporting it like this, and automatically it should be exported nicely. So you can see that it's over here, right? Empty state, nice and clean. So okay, we are still getting this error here. Let me just re-import it myself, and everything should just be fine. Okay, so right after doing this, what we want to do is we want to go into this empty state here. Okay, then we're passing a few stylings. So I'll just come here, and then I'll say let's give it the first div. Okay, we're going to, yes, so this div, then we apply a few class names. Now, okay, I wanted us to, okay, let's just apply the class names. So we say px6, right? Then we'll say py10, px6 py10, then sm, then we set that to px6 as well. Then we say we want to take this large, so lg. So for lg, what do we want to do? We want to set px to be what? 8. Okay, lg px is 8. Then we say h full, then we give it a flex, then justify center, then item center, then what? bg gray 100. So bg gray 100, nice one. All right, now that we've been able to work with this, what else do we want to do? We want to come inside, and then we want to apply another class name here. So here we'll start by saying text center, and then inside let's pass in the rest of the class names. We're going to quickly say item center, then flex, then flex code. Nice one. Then right after working with this one, what we want to do is we want to come here, and we want to quickly apply this h3 tag. Then we say what? Select a chat. So select a chat, or start a conversation. I want to do it like this. Okay, so start a conversation. Okay, nice one. Right after doing this, let's apply a few class names to it, right? So we want to say mt2, right? mt2, then we will say what? Text 2xl, and then we would apply font semi-bold. Let's not forget the text gray 900, and we should be fine right about here. Okay, so right after setting this up, we want to quickly work on a couple of things. Okay, so you see this empty state that we have in here. See this empty state that we have in here. We need to come to this div that we have here, and then apply a few class names. So what is the class name? We're going to say hidden. Okay, so on mobile screens is going to be hidden. Then we are going to apply this lg block. Okay, then we would say what? lg again, or for large screens again, make the pl to be 80, and let's make sure that the height is full. Okay, now right after doing this, you realize that it's only when I expand that we would see the empty state that we are supposed to see, right? So yeah, let me try to, so yes, so you see that it's here. Okay, so it's here, nice and clean. So right after setting this up like how we have to set it up, I'll quickly zoom in. I don't know, I want you to also be able to see all the stylings that is going on here. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay, I think this should be better. The next time we are going to align all the styles in the vertical order so that you can follow easily. Okay, so right after working on that, we want to quickly go on to create a new file over here, and then we'll name that file layout. Okay, so layout.tsx. Then after, we would do our refce, or if we don't want to do that, okay, let's just do the refce, right? And then this is the layout. Then we say what we want to change this to what users layout. So users layout. Okay, so I'm going to take this and take this and complete it. So users layout over here, nice and clean. Okay, so right after working with this, what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is an asynchronous. Okay, so this is an asynchronous functional component here. And right after working with that, okay, we need to rename this. Well, okay, so now it's exporting it accordingly. All right, so right after working with this, what we want to quickly do is we want to pass in a prop here, and then the prop we are going to pass in is children. So you are going to say children, and then this children prop is going to be having a type of React node. So we'll just say children again, and then we'll give it a react node. Nicely done. Then right after setting this up, we are going to have to come inside here, right? I'm going to have to come inside here, and then we are going to say div, and then this div, we want to make sure that it is the height full. So it has the full height, and then we are going to assign the children to it. Okay, nicely done. Okay, so right after we've assigned the children to this div, we want to do one more thing. Okay, so we want to wrap this whole div inside a sidebar component, right? So we can just come and then do sidebar here, and okay, then come here. So right after wrapping it around it, what we want to do is we want to quickly go into the components folder and then create a new folder. So inside your app and then the components here, right, you want to create a new folder called sidebar, and then you want to create a new file called sidebar.tsx. Nicely done. Then right after that, we want to get rid of the error as fast as possible, so we just do our refce, and that should give us our sidebar. Okay, now inside this sidebar that we have here, we want to work on a couple of things with it, right? So what do we want to do with this sidebar? What we want to do with the sidebar is quite simple. Okay, so what we want to do with the sidebar is quite simple. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, we have one whole div that we have in type. Then we create the desktop sidebar and then the mobile folder, right? So how we are going to set this up is, first thing we are going to do is we need to come here and then create a children prop. Okay, then inside this children prop, we're going to set it to what, the React node. So react node noise. Okay, so right after working with this, we can easily just come and clean this up, and then we can set the first div, which is this one, set it to the h_full, and then the first thing we are going to do is, you see, if I do this, you still see it here, right? So the first thing we want to do is this, right? We want to make sure that we are creating an element here called main. Okay, then inside this main, we would pass in the children. Okay, then okay, I think I need to spell it well. Children. Yeah, so right after passing in the children, you can see that the select a chat or start a conversation is at the top here, right? Don't worry, we'll fix that in a second. So for that, what we'll do is we just come here and then apply a class name to this one. Then we say for large screens, make sure your PL is what, 20. Then make sure that the height is full. Okay, nice one. So right after doing that, you can see that it is now back at the middle here. Okay, so right after working with this, we are going to now have to work on the desktop sidebar, which is the bar that is going to appear right around here. Okay, so in order for us to be able to work with that, we can easily just come here and then create a desktop sidebar. Okay, then this desktop sidebar, obviously we are going to get the error, right? So but let's not overthink too much. All we need to do is come here and create the component desktop sidebar.tsx, and then inside desktop sidebar.tsx, we want to get rid of the error as soon as possible. So we can just do our refce and then import our desktop sidebar at the top here. Okay, let's save, and then it should look just like this. All right, nicely done. Then let us quickly come here as well, and then we are going to apply the mobile sidebar too as well. Mobile sidebar, then we will just call it like this. Of course, we are going to get an error, but all we need to do is come here and then create the mobile sidebar like this and .tsx. Then that should basically allow us to do our refce and then get rid of the error as soon as possible. Yes, so yes, we save, and then you can see that we have the desktop sidebar and we have the mobile sidebar. Okay, so right after having both of these bad boys working in our favor over here, what we want to first of all do is go into the desktop sidebar and then work on a few things. Okay, so inside the desktop sidebar, right, we want to be able to import a few hooks, right? But how do we import hooks if we've not created them? This is where we'll go and create our hooks. So for that, inside this app folder here, we are going to create a new folder called hooks, and then inside this folder, we are going to create a use routes hook. So use routes.ts, and then we are going to also create a use conversation hook. So use conversation conversation.ts. Okay, So right after creating use routes and use conversations hook, what we are going to do is I want us to remove the s. Okay, so what we are going to do is, inside this use conversation hook, let us create that one first. Okay, so inside the use conversation hook, what we are going to do is, we first of all want to come and import a couple of things. Okay, so import what? Use memo, and we would come at the end here and come and import use params from next navigation. Then we come here and then say use. So okay, in order for us to not waste too much time, let's just use the REFCE to recreate this. Then we just cut this one out, then we remove this return, and then we should just be as safe as this. Okay, so right after doing this, what we are going to do is, I'm going to say const params, then it's going to be equal to use params that we have here, then we initialize it over here. Then right after doing that, you are going to have to come and then say const conversation id is going to be equal to use memo. So use memo, and then we open it up, and then bring the brackets, the arrow function inside, then we apply the dependency at the end here. Okay, so inside here, right, what are we going to do? We are first of all going to check. We say if there are no params dot conversation IDs, then we want to return an empty string. So an empty string here. So let's make sure that the params has been spelled correctly. Nice. Then right after doing this, what we'll do is we'll just come and say return params, or if there are conversation IDs, come and return what? Params dot conversation ID as a string. Okay, I'm gonna return the params dot conversation ID as a string, and then make sure that this occurs under the dependency of what? Params dot conversation IDs. Nice one. If you've got to this stage, you've done really well. Let us quickly move on. We are going to create another variable here called isOpen. So isOpen is going to be what? A use memo again. So use memo, we can easily use the use memo snippet that is provided to us to just jumpstart things. Then right over here, what we can do is just open up this, so you can see. Okay, for this one, what we just do is, no need to open it up. What we're going to do is, we're just going to take this this conversation ID that we have here, right? So we just take the conversation ID that we have, and then we apply a double exclamation mark. But what does the double exclamation mark mean? It just means, even though we are saying return params dot conversation ID as a string for this one, we still want to make sure that over here we are setting it as a boolean. Okay, because if you just leave it as this one, it's going to just see it as a falsy string. But since we want it to become a boolean, we are applying the exclamation marks twice. Okay, so understanding this, we want to also make sure that we are passing in the dependency to be what? The conversation ID. Okay, nice one. So right after working on isOpen, what we want to do is, we want to finally return use memo. Then we want to do the usual. Then we would open up this object quickly. Then inside we'll make sure we pass what is open, and we pass what? Conversation ID. then we make sure that all these two things are going to be called based off of the dependency of is open and conversation ID noise one over here. Okay, so right after working with right after adjusting or creating our use conversation hook, we want to quickly go into the use routes hook and then work on that one too as well. So for the use routes hook, let's quickly do our REFCE, and then what we can do is we can just remove all these bad boys here. You can take out this react to as well. Now what is the first thing that we want to do inside this use routes here? We want to get the path name, so we can say const path name is going to be equal to what? Use path name, and then use path name, we are going to be getting the use path name from where? So we are going to be getting from next navigation. Okay, then when we are done, we would initialize it. Then right after initializing it, we want to also extract, okay, small const, we want to also extract the conversation ID, extract the conversation ID from use conversation noise. Then initialize that one as well. Okay, right after doing this, we want to come here and then return a few things. Okay, so here we'll say use memo, so return use memo here. Then what are we returning? So we'll open it up like this, then we'll create this simple arrow function here, which is going to come out with an array, and here we are going to set the first one to be what? Label, and the label is going to be what? A string of chat, then inside we add the href, so the href is going to be what? Conversation. Okay, then we can come down here and then we apply the icon, and then the icon is going to be what? hi, so hi chat, and then we are going to be getting that from what? React icons. Okay, then right after doing that, we want to check for its active status. So how do we make sure that the page is active? We can do that by checking the path name, and then if the path name is equal to what? /conversation, then we know that it is active. Or if it is what? Or if the conversation ID is set to false. Alright, so that's how we know that this chat is going to be active, right? So being able to pass the first object, let's not waste too much time. We just copy this down here, and then we just see what users. Now right after doing this, over here all we have to do is pass in the users for the href. Then over here we'll see what? hi users. You get it? So hi users, we've gotten it from our from react icon and hi. Then right after doing that, we want to make sure that the path name check is going to be what? So whenever we navigate to users, it's going to be active. So right after working with this, like I said before, let's not waste too much time. Just copy and paste this over. Then for this one, we are going to make it the log out. So here we are going to make it log out. Then inside here we can just set it to hash for now. Then what we are going to do is, you see inside here we are not going to use icons again. What we are going to do is, we are going to use icons though, but like not here, right? So what we are going to do is we just clean this one. Okay, then we make sure that we pass an on click, and this onClick is going to be what, an arrow function here, and then we are going to call the sign out from next/react, and then we initialize it. Then for the icon of the logout, we are going to use arrow left. So arrow left, okay, on rectangle. Now make sure that this one you are importing it from hi2, so you can see, so import from react icon /hi2. Okay, nicely done. Now right after working with this, we want to make sure that at the end of the day we are coming here to come and pass the dependency. So we say that this value would only change when the path name or the conversation ID changes. Okay, now this is how we have set up our use route hook over here. So right after doing that, we want to quickly go back into the desktop sidebar here and then work on a couple of things. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to import routes. We're going to import routes from use routes. You can see we just imported that. After importing it, we are going to initialize it like this nicely. Then we are going to create a use state of what is open. So it's open, and then set is open. Then we are going to set it to a use state. Nice, initialize that one too as well. Okay, so right after working with that, what do we want to do right now? The first thing is we want to come down here, open up this bracket, then we say the first div. So the first div, why I want us to get the first div. Okay, nice one. So for the first div here, what we want to do is we're going to give it some class names. Okay, so like I said, I want us to arrange the styles like this so that you can easily follow. All right, because like it will keep entering the end of the screen. So let's just continue. Okay, so the first thing is for your desktop sidebar, you want to make sure that the first styling is hidden. All right, so on mobile screens it's going to be hidden. Then we'll see what LG fixed. Okay, then LG insert, LG insert, okay, insert y0 here. Nice one. LG insert y0. Then we see what LG left, so left 0. Then we'll come here and then we'll come and see so LG left 0. We'll come here and then we'll come and do a few more class names. Now what is that class name? We are going to now take this z index for the LG, so for the large screens, right? We take the z index for that one, and then we'll apply 40 to it. Then we'll come down here again, come and take the LG and then apply a width of 20, so 20. Then we'll come here again and then take XL and say px6. Okay, then under we would say LG overflow, so LG overflow, so overflow y, so overflow I thought they'll give me, yeah, so overflow y auto. Then we will come here and we would apply more stylings, which is what LG BG white, I want us to arrange this nicely. Nice. Then we come here and then we would say that with LG border, take the LG border, right? LG border out, so border right, and then we can set that one to what, 1 pixel. Okay, then right after doing that, we can come back here, we can come down, and then we see what we say that we want to take the LG PB4, okay, and we take LG flex. Then what else? We take LG one more time, flex code. I'm trying to, I don't know, it's like it's not responding. Okay, it's here. Then we'll come down again and then we say justify between. So justify between. Nicely done. Alright, so right after working with this, we want to come inside here, inside this div, and then apply a few more class names. So this div right here is going to open up, so this class name field, then we'll provide the mt4, right? So mt4, then flex, then flex code, then we have what, justify between. Nice one. Okay, so right after working with this one, we want to quickly come down below here, and then we'll apply our ul, and then with this ul we want to apply a row, so row of what, list. Okay, then after here we want to apply a few class names. So what are the class names? We want to say flex code, item center, oh, what is going on? Flex code, item center, I think ITC, so yeah, item center, and then space y1. Okay, nice one. So right after working with this, inside your ul we want to do something. Okay, now what is the thing that we want to do? We want to quickly open up this, and then we take the routes. Okay, we take the routes that we have here, right? We take these routes and then we map through. So we open this up and then we say what, item. Okay, then we just do our equation here, then we open up the brackets, then inside we are going to pass a new component inside called what, desktop item. Okay, desktop item, then you can just save it like this, and you can see it's telling us to import it. So what we can do is we can just come to this sidebar here, and then we come and create a new file called what, desktop item.tsx, desktop item.tsx here. Then we can just do our RAFCE to get rid of the error as soon as possible. Okay, so for the desktop sidebar we need to make sure that it's a use client. Okay, this one too, yeah, but we need to make sure that it's a use client. So we come here and then we come and declare use client. All right, nicely done. Okay, nicely done. So right after making sure that our desktop sidebar is use client, let's so the error is gone. You can see that we have desktop item. Now that is clearly because of what we defined inside our use route, what we are returning over here. That is it. So understanding this, we are going to quickly go into the desktop item here, and then we are going to work on what we need to work on so that we can display the accurate data that we are supposed to be displaying. Okay, so inside the desktop item here, what we are going to quickly do is we can come and then create an interface. Okay, that's because we are going to be passing so many props, so we are going to be passing props in general. It doesn't have to be so many, but as long as you're passing in props, you need your interface. So I'll just say label. I'll take the label and then I'll give it the string type. I'll give it a type string over here. Then I'll take the icon and I'll give it any. Then I would say href. Then this href is going to be a string. Then I would say what? On click. On click is also going to be an optional, and then we are going to make it a void arrow function here. Then we set the active to also be an optional prop, and we set it to boolean. Nice. Then right after working with this, what we can do is we can just come here and then make sure we take our react.fc, and then we pass in the desktop item props that we have. Then inside this brace, this parentheses or these brackets, we are going to pass in the label. We are going to pass in the label, and after passing in the label, we are going to do a few more things. So we pass in the label over here, and right after that we come here and then we pass in the icon. Then we pass the href. Then we pass on click, active, and then we can finally use them in our project over here. Okay, so inside here, what we are quickly going to do is we are going to come here, right over here. We're going to come right here inside the desktop item here, and then we say const what? Handle click. So const handle click, we are going to create this really normal function, normal looking function, and then we are going to say if on click is triggered, right? If on click is triggered, what do we want to do? We want to make sure that we are returning on click. All right, so return on click. Nice. So right after doing this, what else do we want to do inside this return over here? Okay, inside the return that we have over here, let's clean that and then create a couple of things. So over here we are going to pass the list element here, and then this list element is going to have an on click, and then the on click is going to be handling what is going to do the handle click, right? Nice one. So right after setting this up, what we want to do is we are going to take the click component, the link components that we have in next/link, and then inside here we are going to be passing in icon. Okay, so but this icon that we want to pass here, we need to set it as like an alias or something, so like this, right? Then inside the link we can finally pass it inside, so we can say what? We can say icon, right? Icon, and we can also pass in what? The span. So inside the span we can pass in the label. So label is going to be what? Label. Nice one. So right after doing this, inside here you can see we are getting our errors. So all we have to do is pass in the href and then the href prop. That's all. So Okay, so let me quickly, okay, I think it's trying to compile. Refresh it myself, and then that should be working on the side lines. So right after doing this, we want to add a few class names to certain things. Okay, now let's quickly add the class names for both the icon and the spans, since they are much more easier and shorter to implement. And then we will finally go on to the link, and then we'll apply our stylings to the link over here instead. Okay, so right after understanding this, let us come, and then inside the icon here we'll apply a class name. So this class name is going to be what we first of all want to say that set the h to 6, then set the w to 6, then also set the shrink to what, 0. Okay, for some weird reason, I don't know why we are finding it difficult to compile. Okay, it says what should have a key prop. Yeah, okay, yes, that's true. So you see how we are passing in the props over here. Let's quickly go to the sidebar, desktop sidebar. So inside the desktop item here, let us quickly pass in the things that we need. So for this one, for the key, we are going to set it to what, item dot label. We're going to set the key to the item dot label, and then we are going to basically take the label and then set that one to the item dot label again, to item dot label. Then what else? We're going to take the href. We're going to take the href and then set that one to what, item dot href. And then over here we would do on click, and then we are going to pass in the item dot on click noise. Then let's not forget the last one, icon. And then for the icon, we are going to pass in what, item dot icon. Then let's not forget one last one, right? Now that one is going to be the active. So for the active, we are going to have to pass in what, item dot active. Nice one. So right after passing in all these properties, you can see that they are displaying over here nice and clean. Okay, so let us quickly go into the desktop item here, and then you can see that we've already applied the class names for the icon here, nice and clean. So we are going to come to the span and then apply the class names at that place too as well. And that one, we are just going to say on the server side only that they are going to have to render. So we just say with SR only. So that's basically it. So yeah, so doing this, we are basically applying a certain preset type of styling to it. So you can see that this is it showing over here. Then right after doing that, we want to come to this link. Then we want to apply a certain class name or a bunch of class names to them. So we take this class name, and then we open up the curly braces. Then we see what CLSX, right? We import that one. Then inside, like I said before, for the long class names, I want us to do them vertically so that you can keep track. And then because it's a CLSX, we cannot use double quotes when we are dividing it vertically like that. So we use the backticks. Now we open that one up too as well. Then what else? We can now start working. Okay, nice one. So for this, I'll just say group, and then I'll say flex, and I'll say gap x3, then I'll say rounded MD, then I'll say P or padding 3, then I'll say text SM, then I'll say leading 6, then I'll say font semi-bold, then I'll say what, text gray, text gray 500, then hover text black, so hover text black, and hover BG gray 100, then we will say what, transition, so that it becomes smooth when we move our mouse on top of it. So as you can see, these are the various links that we have over here. Let us recheck. We have group, flex, gap, rounded MD, we have the padding, we have the text SM, the leading 6, the font semi-bold, the text gray 500, the hover text black, the hover BG gray, and all these things. Then we want to make sure that, boy, what is going on? Yeah, so we want to make sure that right after setting it up over here, right, we want to check for the active. So in case one of the links or one of the tabs is active, right, what do we want to do? We want to pass in like a few styles. So we just set the BG gray, so we say BG gray what, 100, so BG gray 100, and then we say text black. Nice. So as you can see, it is here, nice and clean. Okay, so right after setting this up, this is basically it for the desktop item that we have over here, and then the desktop sidebar that we have. Okay, so we are quickly going to move on to create the mobile footer that we have. So we want to display it around here. Okay, so in order for us to be able to do that, let's not waste too much time. Let's go to the sidebar first. Now the sidebar takes us to this place, and then I can use control and click on that to enter the mobile sidebar here. Now one thing we can understand is the mobile sidebar and the desktop, sidebar, they seem to have like similar qualities. Okay, but no worries, I wanted us to like copy and paste and then just edit, but like no worries, it's not that much, so we can just move on. So I'll just say routes is equal to what, use routes, then we can import that nicely, then initialize it as usual. Then right after that, we can come below and then come and take its open property. So we can take the is open property from use conversation, nice. So right after taking that, we can come and check. We say, oh, we want to say, oh, if it's open, then what, return null. So we don't want to show any mobile sidebar in case the is open property is set to true. Okay, so right after doing this, we want to make sure that we get rid of this error, and then in order for us to get rid of it, we need to set the mobile footer to be what, use client. So the mobile one has to be okay. Let me refresh. So the mobile one has to come down here, right? So let's not name it mobile sidebar, let's name it mobile footer. So let's make this footer, and we can change this to as well, make it footer. Okay, then you can change the name here to as well to mobile footer. Okay, then we can come to where the sidebar and then name it to what, footer, and then we can just take this one out. Nice one. So inside here everything is looking like it's supposed to look. Then right after that, what do we want to do? We want to quickly apply a few we want to quickly create a few elements and then apply their respective stylings to them. So the first thing is you're going to have to create a div, and this div is going to be holding the routes that we created at the desktop sidebar here. So all we have to do is just come and copy this and then go to the mobile footer and just paste that. And then for this one we'll not be using desktop item, but rather we'll be using what, mobile item. So mobile item, oh, come on, mobile item. Then this mobile item, we're going to change this to routes here, and then we can just reset all these ones. So that it makes us identify and make things easy for us to use in the future. So nice one, it has been done nicely. Obviously we are going to get the error because we have not created that yet. So let's come here and then create the mobile item file here, .tsx, and let us quickly do our refce so that we can get rid of the error. And let us quickly import it. Nice. Then this one we are not going to have any label inside, but I think, yeah, we are going to have the rest of it. And then we are going to change this one to what, href. Nicely done. Okay, so now that we are showing this over here, right, let us apply our stylings, the right stylings, and then we can move on to go and work on the mobile item, and that should basically do it for us. So inside the class name here, like I said, for long class names I want us to divide it and then make sure they are arranged vertically, right? So this one we just say for large screens keep them hidden, and then fixed on small screens, then justify between. So justify between, then nice one, then bottom 0, nice one. Then we set the z to be 40, then we say what, flex, then we set the item center, then we set the bg white here, then we say border top, and then we just apply 1 pixels to it. Nice one. So right after setting this up nicely, maybe you might not see, you see you're not seeing the results here like immediately, right? Don't worry at all. We are quickly going to work on a few more things over here. So let's go into the mobile item here. Right now, inside the mobile item here, the first thing we are going to do is we can just come here, come and copy the desktop item. Let me just go copy the desktop item, and then paste it inside the mobile item here. Okay, then you just have to take this rename. So I just double clicked on it to select all of it. Then I'll press Ctrl F2 to select all instances of the desktop item, and then I can just type whatever to edit it. So I can just make it mobile item, and then everything should be working at all sides. Okay, nicely done. Now right after doing this, we want to make sure that this is a use client component here. Okay, nicely done. Then right after, we take out the label, we take out the label here too as well, and then right after that we leave this one at how it is, where it is. Then we come here and then we copy this, cut it, right, and then you come and paste it here instead. Then we remove this list and then remove this one too as well. Then we remove this span here, remove the span, and if we want to see, we need to come here and do it like this, so you can see that it is here, right? Then right after doing this, what else? Yeah, we are going to have to just edit the stylings for the mobile item. So for that one, it's actually quite similar, but no worries, we just start from the beginning so that nobody gets confused. So we just set this to group. Okay, then we give it a flex, then we say what, gap x3. Okay, then right after we are going to give it a p4, and then we give it a text sm, leading 6. Then justify center right, and then we apply the width full. Nice. Then what else do? We say text gray, text gray 500, right? Then right after, we set the hover, then for the hover, text black here. Nicely done. Then we will come and give another hover again, and that one will just say bg gray 100. Okay, it looks like the snippets didn't show. Nice. Okay, right. Then right after this, we want to come down here again, and then we want to apply transition. Then we want to make sure that the one that is active here is the same as this. Like I said, it was very similar to it, so we don't have to change anything there. And then for the icon that we have here, all we have to do is remove the string, and we should be good to go. Okay, this is an awesome job that we have done over here. So if we want to quickly test it out, you realize that if we open the main one here, right, and then we click on this log out, you can see that it will quickly log us out nicely. And then when I try to log back in, see that it would allow us to log in and then navigate us straight to this page. Right now, if we used this one too as well, you see that we are outside now, and I just have to log back in. And then you can see that we are here, nice and clean. Okay.